What up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, Saiyan here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 322. And like the fact that Oda definitely got us back on track, we're going to be going to Water City, where the best carpenters in the world who work for the government are, and Luffy's going to try and find his carpenter there. So looks like Luffy's crew is going to further continue to be filled out, which is nice to see. And I like the fact that Nami did clarify. We knew it based on what Alkoji said, but we know that they're going north, which means they're going to Water City or to Water 7. So I like how that was clarified for us. But what I thought was most interesting about this is more about Nico Robin. So apparently it took 4 days, 3 days, about the third day is where the story takes place, but the Straw Hats were anchored for 4 days, and then on the third day we see Nami and all the others kind of just chilled out. Nami's catching some sun rays, she's reading, Sanji's making the food, Luffy's cracking jokes like he didn't just get his life threatened, and it says a lot about Luffy. Luffy has what I call that basketball player mentality, right, where he's acting like a shooter, where a shooter could miss 99 shots and he thinks the 100 shots going in. And with some players, as soon as they catch the ball, if they hit that first shot, they just black the hell out. And just like with football players, where on the flip side, if a guy misses a couple of catches, he's going to have it in his head like, oh shoot, I'm going to drop every catch. So he's got that unconscious mentality that a lot of athletes have. So I thought that was cool. That competitive spirit is there in Luffy, because he's making light of the fact that he did almost die, but he looks at it like, hey, I'm still alive. So that was cool to kind of see that. But what I found interesting about that whole setup is when Nico Robin is revealed, there's more setup. Look at where her character is. She's on the top deck, everyone else is down below. There's some separation on it, and she's got that smile, and it's almost looking like Oda draws that as a fake smile because of everything that we had, and because the last panel that we saw her in, she was looking up and she had that very thoughtful, deep in thought expression on her face, and she's looking at the moonlight, which is very symbolic. And now we have this where there's separation between her and the crew, and she's actually got her hands on the deck rail, and that's separating her from the crew as well as space. Definitely feel like something is going to be coming up with Nico Robin's character, and Oda, based on his panel placement and based on the positioning of different things, definitely is hinting towards that. So that's very nice to see. That's probably the one thing that stood out the most. You had some, slice of life moments where Sanji's making the food and then he's kind of bickering with Zoro, and Zoro's like, look dude, you're being too loud, I need to rest, which means that Zoro more than likely was training. And what a lot of people don't understand, when you start doing the training, and because Zoro works with a lot of weights and probably does a lot of endurance training, the fact that, or anaerobic training, which is weightlifting, but the fact that Zoro's doing all that, a lot of people don't understand rest is just as important as actually doing the lifting. Actually, it's more important. So that explains why Zoro probably sleeps a lot, because when you're working your body like that, and when you're as strong as he is, that means the level of training and resistance that you're doing is probably on some insane levels. So I can get why Zoro's recovering, because you never know with this band of misfits that you're traveling with, you never know when exactly you're going to mix it up, and your body needs to be in peak condition at all times. So I like how Zoro is taking that opportunity to rest, and he's getting on to Sanji for it. And the other, slice of life moment, Luffy, like I said, he's mimicking being frozen in ice, and Nami herself even says, I don't get how you can joke about it. And then she tries to warn Robin, don't push yourself. I know you might feel some trouble because Luffy went through the same thing you did, but this guy's a freak of nature. And yet when you look at it, Robin technically is a freak of nature too, because she ate, I believe it was the flower fruit, so she ate a devil fruit. So she should be able to recover like Luffy as well, theoretically. So, I mean, I see just different things going. I feel like there's a lot of misdirection going on in this chapter, because Oda did a lot of foreshadowing. At least I feel he did a lot of foreshadowing. I feel like there's a lot of misdirection because Eiichiro Oda definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Akira Toriyama. This is something that Toriyama was notorious for. Anytime he was getting ready to come up with a big twist or something, there was usually some type of misdirection there where you got lulled into something else and then all of a sudden, bam, it hit you with something. So I can definitely see something like that occurring in this chapter because, again, it feels like there's more setup, and I feel like more misdirection was kind of placed in where we have that frog, that freakish frog that looks like a dude. I used to work on train lines with that dude, had a hell of a swing, people. But the thing is he's swimming and he's trying to test his might by standing in front of that train that's coming. And for a moment I thought maybe that was gonna be Smoker because that train was blowing out smoke, and then I remembered Smoker has his own ship, so there's no reason for him to be on a train. And I was just trying to connect the dots, like how the fuck is a train on the Grand Line in the middle of the fucking ocean, and yet they've got the train tracks. And it makes me wonder this, okay? I'm answering my own question, I'm asking it too. It makes me wonder if they have like the train that can go around like that, why does the mail get around so slow? And yet it makes sense, like the mail's going to get around slow because it has to get carried through the air. I mean, just different small things. Like I can understand it, but this is one of those world building moments so you go, what the fuck. So that was cool, seeing the grandmother and the cat and the granddaughter. I don't know what their purpose is, the ones at the lighthouse, except to give us that information. But the thing with Oda, these characters tend to pop back up later on. So that's very interesting. Overall, this is an okay chapter. Like I said, it's a setup chapter, so I'm not going to put too much weight into it. My chapter question for you all is, at this point when you're going through One Piece, what were your thoughts about Nico Robin at this point? Did you think everything was all fine and dandy, or were you like me? Were you reading some of the cues in this and thinking there's something else coming? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Make sure to comment, subscribe if you're new. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share. Have an awesome day.